Hello everyone. It is a beautiful day here in Tennessee, and I was gearing up to do my blooms and spikes tour for November, and it just kind of ran through my mind that I need to go over the importance of using certain supplements and how they've benefited my orchids this past year. I'm seeing better growth by far than I had this time last year. So I wanted to share with you what I've been doing so that you can have the same success with your orchids as I do. I've been using my Better Grow fertilizer along with CalMag and seaweed extract and garden lime this year, and it's made such a huge difference. So I thought I would just kind of show you the benefits that I've seen with using all these supplements along with my fertilizer. Okay, I've had several requests from you all asking me to show you all the products that I use. Of course, I use Better Grow Orchid Plus fertilizer, but it does not have any calcium in it. So it's very beneficial to use the CalMag if you're using Better Grow Orchid fertilizer because it has no calcium and very little magnesium. And I have just seen the most definite improvement in my orchids since I started using the calcium and magnesium supplements, both the CalMag and the garden lime. I used both of them, and I will continue to use them throughout the fall and the winter. Now with the CalMag, I use 16 drops per gallon of the CalMag, and that's about 50 to 60 parts per million. I use that every time I fertilize, every time I water. Even when I'm flushing out my pots, I still have CalMag in that water. Okay, with the seaweed extract, this has been such a wonderful product to use. It has potassium in it, which helps keep your plant hydrated. Also, it has amino acids in it that tell the plant what to do and when to do it. So I believe that that's part of the reason why so many of my phals are spiking early this year. Actually, I think that they're spiking on time this year, but they spiked very late in the growing season last year. And so right now I already have spikes that are getting ready to bloom. So the way that I use that is I use 20 drops per gallon. That's about 20 to 25 parts per million. And I use that every time I water, every time I fertilize. And I've just seen a lot of benefits from the seaweed extract as well. And the garden lime, the way that I use that, it's very simple. It's in a very small pellet form, and I just sprinkle that on top of the moss or on top of the bark about every month or two. With the bark, I tend to apply it about every month. With the moss, about every other month. As long as I can kind of see some down in the pot, I know there's some there. But every month or two is sufficient. So ever since I've used the CalMag, ever since I've used the garden lime, I've just seen that the growths on my orchids are so much stronger. Rick L. shared this with everyone months ago. And I just so appreciate him sharing the knowledge that he has about the CalMag and the garden lime. It has made a huge difference with my orchids. So let me tell you what the main difference that I see in my orchids right now and this time last year is. This time last year, I had a lot of yellowing, brown, leathery leaves at the bottoms of my orchids. What was happening was that they were getting ready to bloom, and they didn't have enough calcium, enough magnesium, and most likely not enough potassium. So what they would do is they were wanting to recycle the calcium and magnesium from those bottom leaves, and they would recycle them to be able to have enough energy to spike and bloom. This year, I have had just maybe one brown leaf on my entire collection. This time last year, I had brown leaves on most all of my collection. I've lost fewer leaves off of my plants since I started using those supplements I showed you than ever before in my 16 years of growing orchids. So that is saying a lot. And I'm going to show you another benefit to an orchid that has been fertilized well. This is my foul brother Pirate King, and I have been using the fertilizer and the supplements on this one for about a year now. And do you see how the growth, the new leaf on here is beautiful, strong, green, healthy, and all of these leaves are just beautiful. This has been a well-fertilized, very well-kept orchid. Now this is my foul Magic Art, a gorgeous orchid, but as you see, some of the leaves have split. I actually bought the plant this way. When I bought the plant, I noticed these deep splits here in the leaves. Once this damage is done, you can't do anything to repair it. But do you see how the new leaf that has come out since I owned the plant, it's beautiful, green, there's no splits, the leaf is perfectly shaped. So that's the reason why you want to make sure that you are giving your plants enough calcium and magnesium and potassium so that this kind of thing won't happen. Split leaves among larger fowls especially can happen because they grow so quickly, and if you don't support all that growth with the right amount of calcium and magnesium, this is the end result. And of course, another wonderful benefit that I've seen from using the fertilizer with the supplements I showed you was the beautiful spikes that I have right now. I've noticed that my blooms last longer on my spikes, and also this spike is 3 feet long that I'm showing you right now. This orchid is going to have its best bloom cycle ever. Can't wait to share this with you when it blooms. Also, the root growth I've seen this year has been phenomenal. This is the root system of my beautiful Vanda, Robert's Delight Garnet Beauty. Look at the roots. The roots have just sprouted everywhere. It's amazing, and it's this way on all of my plants. All of the roots are just absolutely beautiful this year. And another benefit I have to mention is when you repot a plant and you're using the CalMag, it just keeps that plant from suffering any transplant shock. I've just noticed that the ones that I've repotted this year have just taken off from day one. I've just not had any loss due to transplant shock. I've not had any leaves lost to transplant shock. It's just been a really, really beneficial thing. And the plants just love it. And I wanted to thank everyone for all of your questions and comments that you all leave me. You all make my day. Thank you for your friendship. I hope that your all's orchids are growing just superbly well. And you all be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you all next time.